I mean, I guess there's just like a stigma that's attached to it that if you drink before you're 21, it's a lot more fun because there's that danger aspect, which it's totally there and it's totally cool.
When was the age you first started drinking?
It was probably like 16.
The first time I drank, I was 15.
I first started drinking when I was 13.
First time I ever drank a sip of alcohol, I was in 7th grade.
I was 14 when I started drinking.
Right before I turned 19. Yeah, so I was 18.
If under 21, how was it obtained?
Friends.
He knew a bunch of people who were like 25, even though he was only 16, which was kind of weird. But yeah, so he got it from a bunch of his friends.
At that age, it was through my parents.
What about as you got older?
As I got older, I just knew friends that were 21 or adults. My friends, my parents' friends. Like, I don't know, I'd always find someone to get me alcohol.
One of my younger friends had an older friend that was totally cool for buying for us. So we just contacted him and he was like, "Yeah, what do you want?" And just picked it up for us.
Generally, my friends who had older siblings, they were 21. That was like the easiest way. My parents wouldn't buy it for me, obviously, but it was hard to get at that young of age. It got easier as I got older.
I don't really remember. I just remember it was there. It was Burnett's.
Do you agree with the drinking age?
No, not really.
And why?
Well, first of all, if you're able to go overseas and die in a war, you should be able to drink. But second of all, I mean, it is probably true that people under the age of 21 probably aren't the most responsible drinkers, but making it illegal hasn't really stopped it, and it just kind of prevents them from like seeking medical attention if need be. So honestly, I'd just rather have it legalized for people who are 18 and just, it'll just dissuade people from, like covering it up.
No, I don't. It should definitely be lower. I think there'd be a lot less alcoholic poisoning deaths that happen on your 21st birthday.
No, I don't think. No, it's not a good thing. I'd rather have it at 18.
I do not agree with the current drinking age, mainly because other countries have younger drinking ages, and it seems to be working out just fine for them. Probably works out better for them.
No, I don't. I think that, if someone's 18 and gets shipped off to, overseas to fight in a war, and they're expected to die for their country, I think they should at least be able to have a beer before they die,
Now that I'm 21, I guess I don't care as much. It could probably be a little bit lower, but I don't know that you'd want it low enough to get into high schools. So you'd have to keep it like still high enough that it would, so that people too young don't get a hold of it, but you don't want it, 21 might be just a little bit too high.
What changes would you make, like, regarding laws, like age of drinking, MIPs, DUIs?
It'd be 18, would be drinking age. I wouldn't change anything for DUIs. That's a serious problem. If somebody needs medical attention and you call the ambulance for them, they will not get an MIP. They just want them to be safe, and I agree with that. And other than that, I really wouldn't make any changes.
Yes.
DUIs definitely need to be more harsher punishments. I think it's crap that people can go out there and, be completely drunk and, yeah, they get pulled over. They didn't kill anybody. That's great that, that happened. But, they basically, yeah, a lot of times you get like 2-3 warnings before you're even put in jail or anything. And I think that's crap, As far as MIPs, I mean, around here, I don't know too many people who've gotten them. They're kind of, they're just like a warning. It's not a huge deal to get one, I guess. I mean, it's really inconvenient for you too, and it's kind of because you were in the wrong place at the wrong time, or because...
I definitely think that DUI should still be enforced pretty heavily. That's a pretty big problem still.
Like, they've always been sort of like a slap in the wrist. Like, I even have a few friends that have MIPs, and they've always said that it's just like, do some community service, don't do it again, and you pretty much like... MIPs, you have to be stupid to get caught.
I think MIPs would kind of just stay the same, just under the age of 18. I don't know, I've had a friend who had to take to the hospital when he was drunk, and you know, he was scared that he was going to get an MIP for it, and you know, he didn't, which is good because he obviously needed to go to the hospital. So I think that should definitely be like that. DUIs, same, if not enforced more. I've also had a friend who I had to call the cops on when he hit a car when he was drunk.
I would probably make the punishments and consequences of like driving drunk more severe, and focus more on that than MIPs. And then you could probably lower the drinking age to like 19 or 20.
The pros and cons of not having a drinking age?
The pros definitely would be that somebody would learn to drink from their parents in a controlled environment. And cons, some people would just take it way too far, honestly.
Yes, yeah, there wouldn't be that fun aspect to it anymore. People would, or hopefully would be more responsible with their drinking. They'd be able to ease into it a little bit more. You know, they wouldn't just turn 21 or just head off to college and all of a sudden they're drinking all the time. Cons, you'd probably see a lot more high school dropouts than you do now, and that's already a pretty high rate just because people would be drinking a lot more than they are now.
I think a no drinking age would probably be a pretty bad thing. I can imagine 12-year-olds sneaking out, going to the convenience store, buying liquor, and getting drunk while their parents are gone. It would be kind of nice to have it a lot lower, but I don't think it should be really lower than 18.
Kids don't all of a sudden have the opportunity to drink. They just can slowly work their way into drinking, I guess, and sort of build maturity. The con, I would say, of having no drinking age would obviously small children would be drinking. That's terrible.
It would just be easier to get. Kids wouldn't be sneaking around and lying to adults, and probably not so much stealing it either. I know I'm sure a lot of kids steal from parents or stores. And but cons, obviously, you don't want some 8-year-old having a beer. That's just not cool.
In college and in high school wouldn't be like as into partying as they are right now, because it's just something that you could always have, and it, you know, it's not a big deal like they do in Europe, where there's no drinking age and they have. But I guess they do have a bigger alcoholism problem in Europe. They just don't have a partying problem in Europe. I think the cons would definitely be that there are obviously the people that would abuse that, like the kids in high school, and especially for like the first couple years, like the people who feel like they've missed out on everything would just go crazy.